Good day everyone, my name is Rob Perry, CEO of CRM Champion, and today we'll be going through the process of adding organisation and contact details for yourself, a colleague, or if you're a Zoho or CRM consultant for one of your customers. At this point, I think it's important to mention that this video details how to add organisations and contact details in Zoho One and not in Zoho CRM. There is a separate video covering augmenting and adding additional information to Zoho CRM, and coming soon there will also be a video showing the key differences between Zoho CRM and Zoho One. Okay, so in Zoho One you will need to navigate to the directory, and if you're on the Zoho CRM homepage, you can get to the directory by going to this little matrix icon on the lower left hand side and clicking on admin panel. However you get there, so whether you get there from Zoho One or whether you get there from the CRM, you will need to click on organisation, and then you will need to click on edit in the top right. Now, when you first set up Zoho One, you will be asked to enter your company name, and that will automatically assign that name to the portal URL. This is covered in another video, and I don't want to get too far into it now, but at this point, be aware that if you change the company name field, it won't automatically change the portal URL field. As you can see, we've got an M ending it there, just from when I was testing earlier. And if you update the portal URL field, that is going to change the web address of your platform. So let's just change that back to where we want it to be. There we go. Okay, so assuming you don't need to make any changes to the name and the portal URL, you can go ahead and add the correct information. The first field we'll look at is called primary location. So let's go into edit, primary location, and this is a lookup field, which means it's looking for data in another location. So I'm going to come out of here and move across to the work locations tab, as this is where the information for the address details, time zone, language are all managed. So as you can see, I've got two in here, but if I click add work location, you'll see I can add the location name, the address information, the time zone information, and the language for that specific work location. So I'm not going to set one up now, but you can see that those are done in there. So I'll now come out and I'll go back into organisation info and I'll click edit again. I'll change the primary location to the Plymouth branch, and we'll see how that updates everything on the in the address details. So I'm going to edit the communication details now as well. So I'll add the phone number. There we go. I'll add a mobile. I'll add a fax. Does anybody actually use fax anymore? Not sure that anybody I know does, but let's put that in nonetheless. And we'll add the website, and we can update that. And you can see that all the information there is updated, including our address details, which were they were from a lookup function, which looked up work locations, and we looked up the Plymouth branch address here. Right, so the next step is to add some users and update your own user information. So you're going to click users on the menu on the left. And rather than edit an existing user, I'm going to add a new user. And this will show you by default how to edit an existing user. So let's add a user here. I've got some information which I'm going to just put into here. So first name, you see it's got some tips, guidance in the fields already, but we're going to overwrite that with our information. So first name, surname gives you a display name, email address. You can make that up, but we're going to going to go for that on this one. It gives you a one-time password which will be sent to the user once you've added them to the system, providing you keep this box ticked, send notification email. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to add all of this in. This is all hypothetical, it's not real information. So then we come to designation, and you can see again, this is a lookup field, and I will go through the location that this is looking up shortly. But let's put training administrator. It's the same for department. So again, that's a lookup, and we'll have a look at that in a moment. Reporting to, so this will be looking up any other users you've got in the system. So I'll just put user one. And then work location, as we just saw, is going to identify from those locations we looked at earlier. So locale information. So that's been automatically filled from the work location. So you can see we've got English United Kingdom, country United Kingdom, time zone, British summertime, which is what all associated with this location. However, if we want, we can change the language. So we could put French in here. If you can change that individually so that this individual is not tied to the governing language for that work location. I'll keep that as English United Kingdom. There we go. And we'll add some of the additional information as well. It's good to get all the information for your staff so that you've got a reference of how to communicate with them. Knowing their birthday is very useful. So entering a date of birth or any date for that matter can be done with with this calendar function here, and this will give you the ability to select by day, by month, by year, or even by decade. Or if you've got it, then you can just enter the date in the format which is detailed in let's put that in there. So let's just put that in. So that's 27/02/1987. There you go, and that will just set that up without having to go into the calendar function. Gender, date of joining, again, I'm pretty sure we can copy and paste this in, so I'm going to give it a proper go this time. Let's give that a go. There you go. So 14th to the 6th, 2025. Seating location, if you run a company which has anything like seating locations. Again, seems slightly old-fashioned, but there we are. Okay, so we've got all the information in there now, and we're going to click add. We've already practiced that, so let's just change that one to 7. And there we go. Obviously, you need to have a unique user ID, and we'll just come out of there now. And you can see you've added Rebecca Thompson. And what I'm going to do as well, you'll see I've got a photo here against user 1. So we can go into Rebecca Thompson and we can edit all of those details again in here. We can also get the opportunity to now to upload a photo. So here's one I prepared earlier, and that is going to, there we go, just the full picture. In fact, that's just catching some white space there, so let's move that. There we go, lovely. Okay, so I said we would look at designation. So we need to go back to organization to do that, and into the tab designations. And as you can see, we have 3 already, and we allocated our user to training administrator. If we want to add a new one, we click add designation, and we can click add a new designation in there. Now we can add users directly to that designation from here, but I feel that it's better if you can have eyes on the whole record when you're adding a designation. So I'm just going to add that as another option for designation, and then that will come up in the drop down menu or the lookup field when you're providing a user with a designation. I also said that we would look at the department, how we set up the department. So if we go to groups, you can see we've got training department here already. And if I add group, then we can add a group. Now, essentially we want to choose department from the type, and we can give the group a name. So let's call it human resources, and let's capitalize that because I'm obsessed about that. And then the description, I'm going to keep that simple and just put people. Obviously you can be more elaborate with your description, particularly if you've got some quite unusually named groups. So then you can add head of department. So we make that user 1. Any moderators, so moderators will have the privileges to add or remove members and manage these group settings. So maybe we give our user this privilege, and then we can add other members to the group as well. I won't at this stage, but then you can also add followers, and so maybe make myself a followers. Followers have the privilege to access shared resources such as documents, chat channels, and things like that. We won't go into that here. We'll cover that in another lesson. Okay, well, thank you very much for your attention. If you'd like to learn more, head over to www.crmchampion.com and check out more of our training videos.